You are listening to Bang Radio.
Hey, what is happening, guys? Aloha from Hawaii. And here today, we actually have a pretty amazing episode. This is something that I feel really passionate about. I get questions about this all the time, but we talk about what works. What can work to get a woman to like us? You know, the hottest woman in the world, the type of sex we want, the type of relationships we want, but this chase and this pursuit of what it is we need. And because I get this a lot, I actually got this from an alumni member, and what this video is about is it explains this chasing of validation, this chasing of fulfillment, and how different living the sexual life, living this true lifestyle of masculinity is from what we think it is, right? See, one of the number one rules that we learn, or we begin to learn the moment that we have a sex drive, is that as a man, how do we express that? As a woman, how do we express that? How can we learn to be an expression fluidly of our sex, our emotions, our urges, our feelings, our mentality, and all those things coming into one so that we can be everything? See, when we think happiness is just about a pussy, when we think happiness is just about an orgasm, when we think happiness is just about a story that we tell somebody, it's delusion, it's validation. It's the desperation of masculinity and femininity, the lack of connection, talking, and this is how we're having sex. This is the sadness of it. What we promote here at TSL, the sexual life, what we promote with MD360, and what we teach and what we unify on as men. And that's how we teach. We teach in a community. We do not teach from some authoritative point where you just look at stuff and you don't interact. It's how we can be that total man, how we can unify as a group, how we can unify and live a better sexual life, live a better social life, and be a part of everything. All right, like, share, subscribe, check out iTunes, check out Stitcher, check out YouTube, and of course, don't forget to live the sexual life. So one of the most powerful things in our human experience is connection. It's sex, it's socializing, it's being an expression of ourselves and really what we were born to be. And if we can express it, if we can be fluid with it, if we can be ourselves with it, we will rise to an amazing expression and experience. So much to the point that it will change us, it will shape us, and allow us to be the best possible woman or man that we can be. It's an amazing thing. But if we confine it, if we're afraid of it, if we limit it, if we try and put rules and borders around it, man-made concepts and structures, usually based on fear, it'll break us. If there's something more powerful than you that you're not humble to, then it will ultimately humiliate you. And that's what this is about. Men not being men who can speak as men, women not being women who could speak as women, not being able to speak with our sexuality, and what happens when we try and live that lie of hacking the system to have a sex life. So I got a call from a friend last night, amazing guy, TSL alumni, and he'd been with us for years, lived an extraordinary sexual life, but he's going through a time where that hasn't happened. He hasn't gotten laid in a while. You know, there's some other deficits happening in his life where, you know, and that happens to all of us, you know, when I haven't eaten or I take some emotional blows or I, you know, going through financial hardships, whatever, something that kind of sets us off course. And he calls me and he says, man, Steve, I saw the most beautiful woman. She was in a store and her body was amazing. And we've talked about this, like, God, dude, I couldn't believe it. So I went up and I approached her, I talked to her, built rapport with her. And when I asked for her number, she said, you know what? I don't even have time to have friends. I'm sorry, nice to meet you, see you later. And she walks away. And he says, Steve, man, what could I have done? What could I have done to get her to stay? What could I have done that would have worked? You know, what is it? What is the system, the technique? What could I have said to make this not happen? And this is one of those things, you know, when we get rejected, when we fail, when we're in situations that we don't like, or when we're alone, what do we feel? And this is what we need to explore. And this is one of those things where, hey, it's seen as rejection. You know, who knows what her situation, you know, she's busy, she's getting hit on all day, whatever, she's, you know, uncomfortable about something, she has a boyfriend, whatever it is. Her mode of life did not fit in with yours. But what's interesting And this is what always happens, and thank you so much for allowing me to share this with people, because I asked you, I said, hey man, can I share this, make a video of it? Because this is important, man, guys go through this. A lot of guys who've never gotten a date go through this. Tell me what works. Give me what works. And in short, let me tell you, here's what fucking works. It's not a system, it's not a routine, it's not a line. Sure, those things can be helpful for certain situations, but here's what will work and here's what will change your sex life. If you can show up as a man, as a sexual man, with your urge and be honest with that and present that in front of a woman and stop giving a fuck about whether you're judged or rejected or accepted or not, and think about how can I connect that? And it doesn't always work. Sometimes we don't hit that connection. Right? And we feel bad, and we get rejected and yada, yada, yada. But man, how can I show up and be that man? And that's actually what works. All right. So we got into this discussion, and I said, man, and this is something that I would like for you to think about. This is something that I think about. This is one of the healthier thoughts that we all kind of like move within at TSLs. What would you have gotten? Think about this. What would you have gotten if she would have paid attention to you? And what did you want? Well, man, I wanted her to go on a date with me. Man, I wanted to experience her body. Jesus, man, Steve, if you would have seen. Okay, so let's say you have sex with her. Let's say you get her validation. Let's say you get her acceptance. What does that make you? What is that going to do for you? Is it going to make you more of a man? What's it going to do? It's going to make my mind clear. Man, I'll be able to think about jobs at work. I'll be more creative. I won't have this pressure on me. And yeah, man, it is my expression of a man. It is who I am. It is my sex drive, and I want that, and why can't I experience it? Why can't I get that with her? Why can't I share that? If I would have gotten that, man, it would have made me so much happier. And that is one of the biggest myths and lies about sex, seduction, and happiness. Here is what makes you a man. Here is what makes you a woman. Can we show up as ourselves? Can we show up as with everything, our mind, our body, our emotions, our sexuality? But in this sense, how can we show up as a man with a sex drive? And here's the trick, here's the routine, or here's the line that you say when you say, hey man, I want to talk to you, let's exchange numbers. You're beautiful, I want to see you. And she says, I don't even have time to have friends. And as you said to me on the phone, you're like, man, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what that means. Well, tell her that. Look, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what to say to that. But look, you are beautiful, and I don't take many chances putting myself out there and talking to women like this. But with you, I want to see you. So, I don't know, you make your decision. You walk away if you want. But that's where I stand with who I am. And that is at most is what you can say. Seduction is dependent upon choice. It's dependent upon opportunity. It's dependent upon you connecting with somebody else. But if you somehow control it and don't allow that choice, it won't happen. What men need to learn how to do, and what you need to learn how to do, and what every man needs to learn how to do, is look at, how am I dealing with rejection? How am I dealing with failure? What is that saying about my masculinity? What do I expect it to change? Because when it comes to expression, when it comes to sex, when it comes to connection, when it comes to actually those experiences that actually change us, they're never actually what we've formulated in this story of our mind. That if she gives me her pussy, if I can use my dick, if she gives me an orgasm, if I make her feel pleasure that she's never given to another man, that she's never shared with another man, that somehow I'm going to become a man. That's not the language of sex. That's not the language of seduction. That is a beauty that you can step into. That is an experience that is going to influence you. And that is a beauty and experience that's going to shape you to look through the world through another set of glasses. When you use your dick, when you can learn to speak with your dick, and when you're a woman and you can learn to speak with your pussy, and when you can be proud of it and show up with it, and allow yourself to be changed and influenced by another person, to be shaped by them, man, that's when your mind can calm and you can actually have the perspective to not need or get anything or control anything to have it. And you will be more inspired, encouraged, motivated, whatever you want to call it, to allow choice to happen in front of you, and you can show up in the world. As a man, show up, put one foot in front of the other. State who you are. State who you want. And the only skill you need, the only social dynamic you need, is the ability to connect with that. How can I show up with the world as a sexual man? Put myself out there. Say I want you. Say I want to make love in a way that people will hear it. Start coming from there and social dynamics will start making more sense. If we come from desperation, if we come from without, if we come from control, and if we come from this idea that sex is somehow a hack or a value-based system, socializing is that, will never be fulfilled. If we're cursed enough to get results, we'll prove to live an unhappy life. Anyway, thanks for watching.